The first time I got gummed, I was like, oh my gosh. I was definitely not prepared for it. So this might be self-explanatory, but the girls, if you know what I mean and catch my drift, get 10 times bigger than they do in pregnancy. So you know in pregnancy they obviously grow. Sometimes for a lot of people they notice that and that's one of their first signs that they're pregnant. But if you couldn't imagine, I knew they would get bigger once your milk came in or your milk dropped, but I did not know how big. And for me, let's just say they were huge. Your clothes fit absolutely crazy. And what I mean by that is if you're someone who isn't used to being way bigger on top and then smaller on the bottom, once you start breastfeeding or whatever, your milk changes your body and the shape of things. So I had to learn how to wear my clothes, to still wear the clothes that I like, still wear the size that I like, or the size that I wore once I lost my pregnancy weight, without it being too baggy on the bottom and in the midsection and then too snug on top, or vice versa. Because you can't always just size up because clothes fit differently. And it's something that you get used to even just during pregnancy in general. Number 3, when your milk drops, there's actually a specific feeling that you get. They call it letdown. And I had heard about it before, but I really wasn't well versed on it, and I looked it up, and they say it's like your hormones actually surge when your milk comes in, not when it first comes in, but every time that when it's time for your baby to feed or when it's there, it's let down, and there's an actual feeling that you get. They say that your hormones actually surge, and the best way that I can explain it is they say it's similar to the feeling that you get if you eat chocolate. You can look it up, but I think it's your endorphins, which is a type of hormone, surges, and it's like a happy hormone. For me, it is the feeling that I get when I eat too much dark chocolate, and it's just weird for me. It's kind of like, some people say it's like euphoria. It's just different for everybody. For me, it's like unexplainable, but just be prepared for a real unexplainable, interesting feeling that you get when your milk comes in. Number 4, comfort feedings. Oh my gosh, my daughter loved comfort feeding, and if you're new to this, comfort feeding is when the baby is not actually eating for milk because they're hungry, they're eating for comfort. And sometimes comfort feeding can cause your child to literally be attached to you for hours on end. For myself and my daughter, she liked to comfort feed to sleep or breastfeed to sleep and then comfort feed, and oh my gosh, it was like, will this child ever get off of me? And as much as I love breastfeeding, that was one thing I was not ready for. Thankfully, she doesn't comfort feed as much now. I feel like a lot of people don't talk about this next one, but sometimes you have an oversupply of milk, rather than what you usually hear about is not having enough milk. A lot of women don't have enough milk, or their milk doesn't come in a lot, so they're not able to breastfeed. But the opposite of that is women that have an oversupply of milk, which causes their, breasts to constantly leak and or be engorged a lot, or it'll actually spray out, just like start spraying if your baby hasn't ate yet, or it's just a whole dilemma in itself. And I could actually do a whole video about having an oversupply of milk. I know a lot of women that have an oversupply will donate their milk to hospitals and stuff like that. But yeah, I was one of those that had an oversupply rather than an undersupply. It is a blessing to have enough milk to be able to feed your baby if that's what you want to do, but at the same time there are pros and cons kind of with everything. This one kind of goes along, number 6, with being comfort feedings. You get used as a pacifier. Sometimes your baby will just want to get on the boob just to pacify him or herself for whatever reason. You're a human pacifier. Number 7, you get gummed or bit. The first time I got gummed, I was like, oh my gosh. I was definitely not prepared for it. She literally clamped down with no teeth. My daughter did not get teeth until about 2 months ago, and it hurt. Now that she has teeth, I have gotten bit. It is horrible, and It's very, very painful. Number 8, strangers will literally stare you down. I always have a cover and I'm always like clothed. Nothing's ever out or anything like that, but people will still stare you down like you're in the wrong for feeding your child. It's the weirdest thing I've ever experienced. Even if I've had instances when I've been in my car and people walk by my car and are looking all in, all nosy, when it's none of their business and it's a baby being fed. I don't understand why people sexualize it, but just be prepared for those weird strangers that are all up in your grill. Now on to happier times. Number 9, the bond that you and your baby build is so awesome and it's such a cool experience. It's really unbreakable. It's nothing that I would want to take for granted, and I realize that it's such a blessing to be able to breastfeed and even have an oversupply of milk. And honestly, for the time frame that we have done it, I have enjoyed getting to build that bond with my daughter. Of course, if you can't breastfeed, there's still other ways to build the bond, and you have a natural bond as a mother, but breastfeeding is such a cool experience that I am really glad I got to experience with her and just have to cherish forever. And number 10, you get so excited when you start the weaning process to have your body back. Oh my gosh. But at the same time, you are really sad because that's a special process, touching again on number 9, that you guys share together, and just an incredible bond that you got to build with your baby. But at the same time, you're like, okay, girl, time for mama to get her groove back. Those were my 10 things that nobody tells you about breastfeeding. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I will be posting a makeup tutorial on my channel. I haven't done one of those yet with good lighting or anything like that. I did one way back in the day. I think I deleted, so I'm excited about that. But if you guys are interested in seeing more videos from me, please subscribe, tap the bell to get notified when I upload, and I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye.